This actually really annoyed me.
Genuinely, I tweeted about this. I was like, I'd rather stand.
Yeah, this is just beyond the pale and really annoys me, right? So this is traveling while fat. I think we'll watch some of it just because I mean, I guess you've never had the experience of traveling.
Oh, I have.
While weighing 500 pounds.
Oh no, that's no. Unless I ate.
Let's talk about how embarrassing it can be to travel as a plus size person.
All I'm thinking about is, please, God, do not sit me next to a fat phobe.
I was escorted off the plane by police tonight. How's your night going?
I'm about to board a plane into Toronto, and all I'm thinking about is, please, God, do not sit me next to a fat phobe. On top of that anxiety about asking for a seatbelt extender, and like if you have to go to the washroom, like trying to get through the aisle in a larger body and if you'll really fit, and once you're in the washroom, there'll be even space to wipe your ass. This is the seat right now. I literally go on top of the next person.
Imagine being too big to get into the toilet.
To wipe your bum. Yeah. These people have no shame. You have to be shameless.
Oh, it's mad. But I mean, this must feel very much like first world problems, right?
I mean, but the thing is, here's the thing. This is why the culture really annoys me.
Yes.
Because these people are allowed to live in their delusion.
Yes.
That's why I get angry. It's not the fact that don't you think they know that they're fat? No, they don't know that this is unacceptable.
Yes.
Like, you're squishing me.
Yes.
There's two humans here. And if my bag is like 0.3 kilos overweight, I have to basically take out a second mortgage to get it through.
Yeah.
But this is literally, and also it's bad business.
It is definitely bad business. But the thing about it is it's the attitude, right? For example, an open letter to thin people who feel infringed on by fat people on airplanes.
As if being fat is just like a natural, normal state of affairs.
It's God-given.
Exactly.
Right? As if it's just thunderbolt from the heavens, right? Again, there's nothing I can do. It's not connected to my actions in any way, shape, or form. That's the
attitude. They're treated like they're disabled.
Yes.
I remember one time, I don't remember where I was flying to, but I was asked to move because there was a disabled person. They're like, oh, could you please move because there's a disabled person in their family?
Oh, no problem.
Genuinely, they were like, they had like a trumpet sound, boom, 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 boom. They were walking. I actually couldn't believe my eyes. My jaw dropped. I know. I think I was flying. I think I might have been flying like to Heathrow from Accra, and I think this family went on holiday. I couldn't believe. I was in shock.
Yeah.
And so I looked at the air hostess, and she was like, "Thanks, you're so great. You know, that you're really generous." And I was like, "This is a nonsense. What I'm seeing here. The whole family was fat."
Of course they were.
And like the dad was so fat, he had like a wheelchair, and there's like this disability. I'm like, yeah, his jaw doesn't close. That's the disability. I could not believe it. I was so angry. And then I ended up sitting next to this guy who also happened to be fat.
Yeah.
Who poured beer on my jeans. So I had my flight ruined by these people. I was really upset, but I just couldn't believe it.
Well, this is apparently not an uncommon state of affairs.
Oh my God.
In the new world. Anyway. Hi folks, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to announce that we have a new line of merch in our merch store. The merch store was kind of empty for a while, and so I thought, right, okay, what do I actually want on shirts? And so I just went through some of the most epic and true things that I think that historical people have said, and John managed to make an amazing set of merch out of it. And we will have extra things coming in the store, such as posters for these to go on. Thanks for everything, folks. Now back to the video. But this whole thing, you can see the way it's framed. You don't know me, but I know you. I see you glance over me, as if this person is just living in a world of victimness because of the fact that they massively overeat.
I think it's either complete lack of self-awareness or just completely shameless. Like, you have to have
shamelessness.
Yeah, you just have to be completely shameless.
They're actually quite self-aware that they are, 3 times bigger than a regular human.
Are they aware that they're like making the experience deeply uncomfortable for the person next to them?
Yeah, I think so. She says this, actually. I want to ask you for your compassion, to remember that the fat person sitting next to you or near you on a flight is a human being. I want to ask you to remember that you don't know us or why we're flying, and to consider the idea that maybe our sole purpose for being on that plane is not to make you comfortable or invade your space.
But that's what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, I think these people, because they don't have enough, like, obviously people are influenced by the people that are around them, and the kinds of things that they're seen with approval by their friends and family. And I think that's the issue here.
Yeah.
They live in a culture where they're mollycoddled.
Yes.
Like I remember I was talking to my friend who I grew up with down the road, and he's moved to Switzerland, so he's not even here. And I was like, do you remember when I used to ask you for directions, and you'd be like, you see that fat person there, turn left, and you see somebody in yellow wearing a kiosk, turn right, and you see a really tall person there. Like, we used to speak in such blunt terms, not because it was offensive, but because we're not familiar with living in a society where people lie. And this person, genuinely, she probably got to for over 50% of her actual weight, her recommended weight, before she ever found out she was fat. I think that's what it is. Because this is not, you don't just wake up like this.
No, and the problem is in the West we have a culture of you call it lying, which
It's actively lying. It's just lying.
But it's lying for a particular reason. That's the thing. It's lying to spare people's feelings, because the goal is to make it apparent that there's no bad choices in lifestyle.
I think it's for money. Like if I was in charge of the world, which should happen, I wouldn't allow these shops to have plus size dummies outside, saying, "Oh, look, this is how the clothes look if you're a size 18." Huh? So what?
I can understand why someone who comes from outside of it thinks it's for money, but honestly, it's really not. What it is, it's for morality is why they do it.
Really?
Yeah, no, I swear to God, right? They think they're being moral when they try and normalize the difference between being a healthy weight and being massively obese.
But the thing is, because I the reason why I say we're lying is because when you see a
It is
magazine
lying.
cover,
Well, right.
yeah, a magazine cover with Tess Holiday, I think her name is.
Yeah, I know.
This is objectively not an attractive woman. You are lying by putting her there because you know the
Yes.
people on the cover of these magazines should be attractive.
Yep.
I'm like, if I told you, oh, you're so hot, you look like Lizzo, you're so hot, you look like Tess Holiday, you'd punch me, right? So we're actively lying. So I'm like, either you're lying because you want to make money off these deluded fat people, or you're immoral because there's nothing moral about this.
It's the immoral part, but they think that what they're doing is the right thing because they think sparing people's feelings is worse than indulging a massive overeating disorder.
I don't know. It makes
I know it sounds crazy.
I find it so bizarre.
It is bizarre.
And also, there's nothing kind about diabetes.
No, there's nothing kind about this. There's been a spate, in fact, recently of fat activists who have died from obesity.
But I think the power who really has the power to stop this, men.
Yeah.
Men do.
Yeah.
Because if men said, particularly black men that are looking for immigration papers, if they stopped sleeping with overweight women and just said, I'm going to do this to boost my immigration status, I think things would change. If all men said, if you look like a building with feet, I wouldn't even look at you. I'll just pretend like you're not there. You just don't exist in my world. No attention, no likes on Instagram. You don't exist. Oh, they would drop the weight like that. No, absolutely.
I believe you. But that would be a human rights issue.
No, there's no abuse. There's nothing.
I agree.
You don't exist.
I'm just describing. I'm not endorsing.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That wasn't an accident. You knew what you were doing when you kept eating. There's no excuse, right? But the thing is, this is the thing, right? They're complaining. Well, look, we've got to pay twice the amount for airline seats.
The same experience.
But that's because you take up twice the space.
But this is the point. You're two humans.
Yeah. Literally, you shouldn't be like this, and you shouldn't be like this, and you're literally encountering physical barriers in the world.
What do you think?
Because you're like this.
What do you think if the airlines define person by their weight?
I think that'd be a human rights issue too.
Just be like, so this is how the airline, for technical reasons, classifies person. This height.
That's
this
a
weight.
great. I like the way you're going with
because
this.
And the thing is, you don't even have to get into the whole gender thing, right? You
Yeah,
just say XY chromosomes. This height, this weight, I think that'd be a great idea.
I mean, you don't need any gender. Literally, we're just literally doing it on weight.
Yeah, exactly.
So stand on the scales.
I went to Orlando.
Yeah.
I went to amusement park and I went to Universal Studios and me and my boyfriend were standing on the weighing scales and they're like, hey, you're both fine. One person stood on it and they were like, no, you're overweight.
Well, listen.
I couldn't believe it.
Listen to the beginning of this, right? They said the average width of an airplane seat has been shrinking for decades. And that's an issue of money. Bodies around the world are getting larger, with experts predicting that over half the global population will be overweight or obese by 2035.
That's not even that. That's a decade.
But yeah, isn't there a larger conversation about our way of life, if that's the case?
Because, the thing is, It's difficult because I often have this conversation. Is it because people are time poor and they don't have the time or the the knowledge to cook
And it's the
healthily?
food as
It's
well.
it's both. It's the culture around like normalizing eating crap and normalizing the culture around being in a larger body, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, the food. Like it's a
Yeah.
big problem.
The food is just junk.
It's
Absolute
just
junk.
it's so bad,
Yeah.
honestly.
So a lot of airlines in America, where this is happening, require customers to buy extra seating. But of course, that's unfair because they're still just technically one person.
So
Uh,
how does that work? Do they buy extra seating in the plane or when they check in or
in advance. So they're supposed to book 2 seats, buy 2 seats for them to
so
occupy.
if they don't and then they turn up like the Michelin man, do they get taken off or
Well, that sometimes yes. So no, I'm not even joking, but that's going to change, right?
okay.
So basically, it depends on the airline, differs between airlines, but sometimes yes, there won't be enough seats on the airplane if they haven't booked 2 seats, and so they won't be allowed to fly. And this has led for a call for clearer anti-discrimination laws
Okay.
because this is a form of discrimination against the morbidly obese.
I don't you see the thing is I don't have a problem with discrimination. We
No.
discriminate not like on our lives on a regular basis.
Discrimination
You
needs to be
discriminate by buying, first class or economy ticket. Like
Yep.
life is full of discrimination.
Yes.
I'm all for this. Yay to discrimination.
To be called discriminating used to be a compliment.
Well, yeah,
You're
exactly.
a
It means
discriminating person,
you're
which means you have
you're-
good taste.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're discerning.
Exactly.
Um,
Yes, but instead, we've arrived at the point where any form of discrimination is now immoral. And so you have something called, quote, the Obesity Collective, which is a fat activist group that is calling for a mandatory code to deal with the issues that eliminate discrimination against those with the condition of being obese.
maybe I'm a bit self-conscious, but I would just actually be embarrassed to do any of this.
This is embarrassing.
I would be embarrassed to allow myself to get to that size and then complain that someone doesn't want to be squashed under the weight of me. And I'd be embarrassed to join a group like that.
Yeah. But these people aren't. As you said, they're shameless. And they want clear rules for all airlines to provide consistency for passengers. The director of the Obesity Collective, Tiffany Peter, said that it was crucial to have clear laws to ensure airlines didn't discriminate against passengers, especially as seats seem to be getting smaller in recent decades. Maybe you're just getting fatter. Despite the trend in Australia of our body sizes going in the other direction, there should be clear rules to level the playing field for airlines. And so you got airlines like Southwest who have been like, okay, we'll just give you free extra seats.
Well, that's fine. If they want to run their business into the ground, that's their because the thing is, Americans are only going to get fatter. So this
Yes.
is literally eating into your bottom line
Yes.
years in advance unnecessarily. I don't have a problem with it. I genuinely just think I don't have a problem with fat shaming. Actually, I think I should be honest. I don't have a problem
I'm
with a
pro
lot
it.
of shame. I think actually that's what society needs a bit more shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
People need to feel shame.
Mm.
They need to feel a sense of discomfort when they're doing things that are not acceptable.
Yeah, we're all judging you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want you to know that I'm judging you. Yeah. No, and I'm not ashamed of that at all.
No, but the thing is, because we that's human nature. We judge people regardless. If you saw a naked person walking down the street, you're going to judge this person as mentally unwell, right? Why do you get away with doing that?
And it's for your own good as well. Like if this woman had been subject to a bit more judgment, then she'd probably be in better shape.
Honestly, I'm very curious because the thing is, the likelihood of her entire family being fat is really high.
Yeah.
I don't understand in what world. Like I've known people where like they're getting a bit chubby as kids and they'll be like, "Oh, mom, I'm hungry." It's like there's no food. That's the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that was like my mom's done that to me before. I mean, I was never chubby, but she was very particular because she was like, "You really can't get any." And she used to say that I was like, "Oh, there's no food."
Right. Fair enough.
And or like she didn't want me to have McDonald's. Like there's rice at home, which is like a new trope.
Yeah. But this is the point though. Like this is not good for her. This is a
But I really-
demonstrably unhealthy way of living.
I will say that in the US they're particularly unlucky because of the strength of the food lobbyists. Because honestly, but even buying rice cakes, I tried to buy rice cakes in the US and it was like $7. I'm like, you can get 2 burgers from McDonald's for that.
And also, when you look at the ingredients in their food, it's full of
Just
really
shit.
Yeah,
Just complete rubbish.
But it's also like there's all this weird, unnecessary stuff. Because I mean, like,
High fructose corn syrup.
yeah, all that.
All these hormones
Yeah.
and food colorings. Like I saw bright green yogurt
Yeah.
for kids. Why is yogurt bright green?
Yeah.
Most people like don't know how to put together a decent meal.
Yeah. And so the Americans I hate American food. Whenever I go to America, I put on weight, and it's like, but I don't normally put on weight.
Don't eat anything. No, honestly, I struggle with the food in the US. Like
It's
to the extent that I actively either undereat or I stick to genuinely like meat, potatoes, veg. Like the most. If I can see it coming from the ground, or like it looks like it's from an actual animal.
But the problem I have is when I'm traveling, I don't have the opportunity to cook. So because I don't have any food. So like me, I took the family to Disneyland in Florida, I think it was, and we go to just some restaurant there, and I'm like,
bread is sweet.
Yeah, I swear to God, right? I literally was like, look, it was lunchtime, and I was like, right, I'm not going to get something big because I know that's going to be thousands of calories. So I'll get a salad, and I looked at the salads, and one salad was 1,800 calories. I'm like, how do you make a salad 1,800 calories? That'd be like 300 calories back in Britain.
And the meat is they're huge.
Yeah.
I had chicken wings in New York with like the celery sticks and like the buffalo dip and all of that, and I was like, these wings look like it's from a pterodactyl. I was telling my uncle, I was like, this chicken looks like it's gonna wake up and punch me. The chicken was so big.
Well, you see, I've realized that Americans eat differently to like pretty much the rest of the world. Because I don't know about in Ghana, but in England, right, your dad will tell you you've got to clear your plate before you can have anything else.
Oh yeah.
You've got to clear your plate. And that's just a totally normal thing in England, totally normal pretty much everywhere else.
You don't even have to clear your plate. Like, this is what you're getting, period.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to, if there's more food, like, yeah, you can have more, but like, this is your portion.
Yeah. But in England, it was always like, you've got to clear. And in America, it's absolutely not that. Like, you're expected to just leave half of your food to just eat.
Yeah, that's another really big attitude problem.
Yeah, I don't have that attitude. So whenever I go to America, someone puts something in front of me, I was like, well, okay, well, I've got to eat it all because I just have been trained.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I think culturally another thing is because we don't really a lot of our food is fresh. Like, so you'd go to the market that day. We didn't really do. I mean, you can freeze stuff, but we eat like a lot of just fresh food in general. So if you don't finish it, like that's your dinner, right? There's no keep in the fridge, microwave it. Like it's usually, so you kind of eat smaller portions as well. It's very strange. I mean, this picture really upsets me. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
because she looks like a young woman.
She is a young woman.
She probably doesn't even have kids.
No. She's probably not going to have kids either.
Oh God, horrible.
But yeah. So anyway, this was something that was picked up by the airlines themselves. Southwest Airlines decided to offer customers of size.
Customers of size.
I mean, that's not descriptive, and that's the point of this. Is to
what size?
Well, exactly. Everyone's got a size. Like, everyone's of some sort of size.
Yeah.
Some people are petite, some people are tall. But no, that means fat, right? Fat customers are getting extra seats at the boarding gate if necessary. A policy that's being praised for its inclusivity, despite some concern that other passengers risk being turned away if they have their seats filled. Can you imagine that happening to you? Can you imagine you get to a plane and they're like, yeah, sorry, this gargantuan person,
human being,
has actually been given your seat. It's like, what do you mean? Why would they get my seat? Like, it's insufferable, isn't it? Right? The airline told the Telegraph its policy was to offer seats and seatbelt extenders, which is hilarious in and of itself.
A seatbelt extender.
I know, come on. If you need a seatbelt extender, the problem is you.
You know the sad thing is, and I hate the fact that I'm saying this. Like, fat people used to be jolly. Like, you can't be fat and insufferable. You need to pick a struggle. Like, you can either be a skinny hot bitch or you can be a fat, jolly, nice person. And I'm like, you can't make us hate fat people too. That's so unfair. Like, this kind of entitled attitude is just worsening social relations. Because the thing is, it's like everyone has something that's going for them. You know that a fat woman, I don't know how vulgar I can get, but she's very she's appreciative for any kind of sexual attention she gets. So she puts her back into it, you know? But if you don't have exactly, like, you have to pick a struggle. You can't be fat and insufferable. That's not acceptable.
Mm-hmm. It does recommend that overweight passengers book 2 seats, but then why would I book 2 seats if you're going to give me one for free?
Well, this is the problem.
You know?
I mean, this is an incoherent policy. I'm surprised at Southwest, though. You'd expect it to be like a small local airline.
Well, I don't know. They've got a bottom line, haven't they? Like, maybe
not anymore. It's going to be eaten.
Well, yeah,
quite literally.
It literally is. And so they realize this is going to be a problem, which we'll come back to in a minute. But then you get like TikToks, people posting me like, oh yeah, this is how you can take advantage. Although I haven't got that in there. So apparently we'll just go straight.
Can I just give a caveat that I despise TikTok? I think it's just rotting people's brains.
Oh, it is. And deliberately by the Chinese Communist Party. But so this was inevitably going to have some sort of knock-on effect. And it turns out that this is a woman who's like, oh, hang on a second. I've actually been kicked off the airplane because of some giant fat guy took my seat.
Oh, so this actually happened to
This
her?
actually happened.
This video is going to be very controversial, but I really need to understand what just happened.
She's not American, so she's really
Flying from Montego Bay, stop in Baltimore, going home to Denver. And in Montego Bay, they tell us on Southwest that we cannot go on the plane because it got overbooked and we cannot get in because I was on standby. Well, I wasn't on the standby. It wasn't my ticket. I purchased the ticket, and they couldn't get. So it's me, my daughter, and her friend. Me with 2 teenagers. We can't get in on the plane. Later, to find out that there's a person of size that did not purchase 2 tickets, but was being accommodated. And that is why we could not get in on the airplane and about to get stuck outside the country. Please, again, I said it's controversial. Please help me understand. Why do I have to spend the night without any accommodations in Baltimore because person oversized person, how did they call her, didn't purchase a second ticket. Well, here's the thing. I asked that here at the Baltimore. They said, sorry, we can't accommodate you. 9 o'clock right now. I have a ticket. I have a flight for tomorrow morning. No accommodations with 2 teenagers stuck at the airport. But she explained to me that Southwest policy is to accommodate a person of size. There we go. Person of size, even if they did not purchase a ticket.
So that is just unbelievable and insufferable.
I don't mind them doing that so far as it's not an inconvenience to someone else.
But it's demonstrably an inconvenience.
Exactly. This is the issue. I mean,
How dare they?
Yeah.
Why is that person
of
more-
size.
Yeah, why is that person more important than me and my family getting on the plane when we have paid for our tickets? We're not breaking any rules. We are, in fact, following exactly the rules. We're just going to get in our seats and go. And someone who is a gargantuan giant who's like, yeah, I didn't book 2 seats even though I knew I couldn't fit into one.
you know, I suspect.
Why
it's
do they
because
get privilege?
They're seeing where the trends are going. Like America is just going to get fatter and fatter. So actually, the rise of having to accommodate people of size is going to increase.
I'm sorry, they can get to the back of the line. Like, I've got no
Actually, I think if they got to
sympathy.
the back of the plane, they might tip it.
Yeah, well,
So
that's,
it might not be able to take off. There might be an uneven distribution of weight.
that's true, but this really winds me up because this woman has done nothing wrong. She's
Yeah.
done everything right. And
She's
then,
with kids as well.
and she's got a kid, so yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, sorry, I'm utterly incapable of controlling my appetite. And so you're going to have to wait for the next plane tomorrow. It's like, no, get
I would be so angry. But
Yeah,
this is
I'd
the
be
thing, this has happened to me.
furious.
They were like, "Oh yeah, Esther, could you please move? There's
Yeah.
a disabled passenger," and you just hear boom, 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 like the
it's not
whole.
disability.
Oh my god!
And
I
so-
was so angry.
Oh yeah, I know. So I totally.
What are the
feel this-
comments saying?
Oh, I can only imagine that people were not happy.
Go to the person of size in the comment area. That's true. I mean, I can second that.
Yeah, there's no
It's 'cause
profit.
at that point you're cargo.
Yeah, well, just book the second seat.
Where do
You
they
know?
put pets? There's a place for pets, right?
I've no idea.
Yeah, there's
actually.
a storage carriage for pets, and it's well ventilated.
I've actually got no idea. But the point is, like, you just go look. If you need 2 seats and you only book 1 seat, you don't get on. You've got
Yeah.
to go book your seat and you can get the next one.
Yeah,
You know, it's you that has to be inconvenienced because you failed to book what you needed for the transport.
and also you're fat.
But even okay, fair enough. You're a giant. Okay, fine. But you knew that in advance.
Well,
this
you're the
wasn't-
one who needs special accommodation.
Exactly.
So this
You
is
didn't
not a
wake
disability.
up today and go, oh my god, look how big I am.
I
You
know.
know, oh sorry, I only booked 1 seat. You knew what you were doing. You know, and this is as people are pointing out, this is totally rewarding the obesity. You're making them a privileged class.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, what the hell are you doing?
Well, this is the thing. We increasingly infantilize people in society. I mean, I talk about the infantilization of society being really endemic, at least here in the UK, but it's extending to. This is one of those weird trends
Terrible.
where it's actually moving from Britain to the US as opposed to from the US to Britain.
Yes, probably.
Because I saw at some point you're just going to hear every like overweight person in the US saying, "I'm working class." Like, wow, we've really done a number, haven't we? Seriously, it's just the complete infantilization of society.
But it's totally unfair. I just can't get over just the phenomenal unfairness of this. Like,
And also,
right,
this can only happen somewhere like the US. I mean, seriously, you'd
Yeah.
see fights breaking out. This happened like the Philippines or India. Like,
yeah, this is.
fat, get off the fat. I don't know a single person that would tolerate this in other parts of the world.
I just can't go over free seats. I can't imagine getting a free anything
I mean,
because
you should
I
probably
was
fire
irresponsible.
the CEO of Southwest Airlines if this is genuinely a policy.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Imagine if you have like your pension fund invested in this company and this is what they're doing.
Yeah, I'd be furious. But I honestly, the fundamental unfairness. These people do not deserve a free seat.
Yeah.
What they should do is have to pay for an extra seat, and it shouldn't come at the cost of someone else. I can't get past it. It must be because I've got kids and we fly places, and I would.
Well,
just
maybe
be
they didn't think they were overweight, or maybe they don't like. I don't know. Maybe
Maybe they didn't think they were. They knew.
Well, but
They
maybe
knew.
they say they don't know the size of the seats or something. I don't know. A general rule is if you can't go on roller coasters because you don't fit
Yeah.
in the seats, it's the same thing for planes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
If you enjoyed that segment from Podcast of the Lotus Eaters, why don't you check out the Josh's latest Contemplations, which is on animal intelligence, particularly killer whales and ravens and things like that. So check that out on lotuseaters.com, where you can follow us, which is a very good thing to do.